Hello, good people. This is Staley. Welcome back. We have a new guitar here on the channel. It's a Fender DG-8s Natural. That's the code for it. It's a mahogany back and sides. I'm assuming it's probably layered, and it's in good condition. I mean, it's been played a lot. I think it might have a little bit of a bust here in the end, but that's okay. Nothing too structural really, and we could always glue that up. But it sounds really good. What we've done in the past is put in a bridge doctor because this has been raising up. We want to prevent that going forward. But today what I want to do is, number one, the bridge is loose on this side, so I want to try and force some glue in there, clamp it down, and so we don't have to worry about pulling the bridge off on this. And then secondly, I want to make a new saddle for it, a bone saddle. Now this one's pretty compensated, you can see. You know, the B down there, and then it's compensated back for the E. So what I'm going to try and do is mimic that to some degree with a bone saddle. That way we can keep this as the original. But yeah, I've already done a little bit of filing on the nut. That's not too bad. But we can go back and check that again. And then as I see this, we're at like 110. So to get down to 80, that would be 30 thousandths. So I need to take 60 thousandths off of the bridge, or the saddle, pardon me. 60 thousandths, which we should be able to do. So I was looking at the nut here. This is the 20 thousandths. Oops, sorry. Which it looks like it can come down even more. So I'll have to look at it and make sure it's the neck set right, stuff like that. But this guitar does sound really good. Oh, it's detuned now. So we'll get started with the saddle and go from there. Alright, thanks for tuning in, folks. See you in a sec. Alright, here we go. Got the strings off, figured out where I needed to be on the new saddle, got it drawn up. The beautiful thing about this situation is that the saddle, the new bone saddle fits directly in the slot for the guitar. So there's no working on the width of it, at least. So I need to go down here to the sander and trying to get the zoom right here. There we go. Go down here to the sander and get this busted out, and you can just faintly see the white line in the black of the Sharpie. That's the 60 thousandths that I'm going to take off to lower the action. Alright, let's go do it. Alright, maybe 10 minutes later, this is what we got. I mean, it's not perfectly on the line there, but it's pretty close. So we'll get it sanded up, just kind of fine-tuned, softened up on the edges, on the top there. Make a ridge kind of in the middle, except for maybe in that B area. And yeah, we'll go from there. Alright, what we've done up to this point is we made the new saddle. I shaped the end pins at the end so they're slanted, so they'll plug in a little bit nicer, as well as reamed the end pin holes so the pins fit really nice. It does already have a bridge doctor in it that we installed several months ago, so there's that. These are EJ-26 Diodario strings, the lights. I don't know if they're going to work for this guitar yet or not. We'll see. I use the 8000 grit eraser sander to de-tarnish the frets, and I put some Be Good oil on there and on the bridge as well, just to kind of protect it. Clean it up some. It definitely looks really nice. You know, of course I gusted it a little bit, but the next thing is, if you can see in there, the truss rod was not engaging, and so of course that nut normally would sit just inside that brace, but I added 2 washers that I had to make using the sander, and these are 2 examples. This one kind of rounded out in the center actually on the bolt as I was sanding it, but I was trying to shoot for this size because that fits. I was going to potentially use the locking washer, but you know, these are better. They're flat. I used 2 of them. There was threads on there before it actually hit, maybe 3 rounds on the nut, so I don't think it'll strip out or anything. It definitely engaged, and also the neck is tilting back, so the truss rod does work. And I did that before there was any string tension on it, which is currently where it is. And I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can back up. No, I don't think it's going to let me. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. It's kind of diving down at the end. So that's what we want to see. And then last thing, I glued the nut on with some canopy glue. That's this stuff here. This is the Be Good oil, in case you're curious. I got it like on Etsy. But yeah. So we will tune this up and then we will check the action again. Alright, so after some fiddling with the truss rod and getting it tight and everything, we got it down to about 90 thousandths, maybe slightly more, 93 thousandths. So I want to get it down to 80 thousandths, and I'm betting we have a little bit more saddle here that we can take down, another 20 thousandths, and that'll get us in the ballpark. And that, I think, will get this guitar almost as good as it possibly can be repaired. You know, I mean, sure, maybe you could do a neck reset and get it perfect, but, you know, again, is it worth it? You know, for this guitar, the sentimentality of it, maybe so. We'll see. Okay, I decided to jump into this crack here that was on the bottom end, especially since it kind of mimicked the out-end break to some degree, and, you know, this is going to be a much better test project to try and fix than the, you know, more expensive guitar there and new. So, you know, it's not going to be perfect here. There's going to be a little bit of a ridge, but I think the binding was mainly disconnected, although I may be wrong about that. I'll tell you about that in a second. So I put glue in there and, you know, squeezed it and got it squeezed out. Used the tape to kind of stick it on there best I could. But then I realized that there's a crack in the top. I don't know if you can see that. If the camera will focus. There we go. You can definitely see it where the light is. Right there. It goes all the way up to the bridge. I don't think it goes through. I can't see any light through there. But yeah, when it was dropped on this end here, it really busted it. It could be a case where we could take and try and super glue that back together. You know, put tape on either side of that line. Excuse me. And put some really thin super glue to get it to draw down in there. Or if there's a particular part of the year in which we notice that it's wider, you know, maybe we can look at it then too. But I just wanted to show you this clip. I did get the Martin Retros for this. I put the D'Addario EJ26 on this, which is the lights, the custom lights, the 11s. And I just don't like the way it sounds. I guess I'm just hooked on these strings, the mono. So we'll start probably with the 12s because I know this guitar will be tuned down. The light strings just really don't sound that great tuned down. So, alright, we're wrapping it up, but you know, once I take this tape off and everything tomorrow, I'll shoot another little clip and see how it did. And we'll get the strings on it and get a little sound sample and wrap this video up. I do definitely appreciate all of y'all tuning in and liking and subscribing. Definitely drop me a comment down there if you like the guitar or the video, or you think I missed something. You know, definitely I'm open to constructive feedback. Alright. See you guys later. Okay, here's the glue job. It definitely is solid. Now, it used to be you could move this up and down, the binding. I think that might have been the only thing that was loose. I don't know that for sure. But it's definitely all secured now. And then I also tightened up the bridge doctor. And kind of the point of this clip is that the tone of this guitar is so much better now. And I don't know particularly what exactly it was that did it. I have to believe that it's probably the bridge doctor. You know, you tighten it up just a little bit so the sound is then, you know, connected, you know, from the bridge to the neck, the heel block. So, I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting point that I wanted to kind of bring up. You know, make sure your bridge doctor is tight if you have one. You know, just barely snug, you know, or just a little bit more, and or you can experiment with that to see what pressure your guitar kind of likes. Because I think I'm finding that all guitars are kind of a little bit different, but you do want it to be snug. If it is loose, the bar that's in there could rattle. So, just something to be aware of. You know, this the glue joint here isn't the prettiest thing, and I'm not even going to try and sand or do any of that kind of stuff because that's just going to make it worse, I think. The whole point was just to make it solid, which I think we accomplished. We made the sound better. I had originally thought I was going to change out the Martin, or the strings, the D'Addario strings to the Martin strings, but since the bridge doctor adjustment, you know, this thing sounds so much better. I think I'm going to rock these 11s here for a little bit, see how it goes, see how the neck does with the tension, which it seems to be doing okay. It's still right around 80 thousandths or so. Let's see if I can get you up here. Hopefully you can see that. I've been outside working and so I'm a little shaky. But anyway, got to do those outside chores, you know, too. But I think this guitar is pretty close to being done. I told my friend that it was going to sit here for a little bit, let it kind of get used to the new tension and the way things are set up, and then let him come get it. All right, thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next time. Alright, we have the Fender here, the DG-8s natural. We did all the work to it. This is the sound sample of it. I did just tune it up. I don't know if I'll include that in the video or not, but it didn't really need any real tuning per se, so I don't feel like that the neck has moved at all, which is a good thing, just given that the neck was not, the truss rod was not moving. You know, when we tightened it up, it wasn't doing anything, so I had to get that to work, and I didn't know if it was going to be adjusting, you know, how that was going to work, but for now it's working all right. I think I saw one of these guitars on Dave's Guitars for $95. And if that's the case, this is a stellar deal, probably equivalent to a Yamaha FG-800, something along those lines. So just be aware of that if you see one at a good price. hope y'all enjoyed this video about the Fender. To the owner that allowed me to make a video with this, I appreciate it. It's been pretty fun to play in the last couple days, just while I was letting it sit, letting it adjust after I made the adjustments. The one last thing I need to do is compensate for the B to help with the intonation a little bit. But other than that, it's pretty close. I think that's kind of a typical acoustic problem. So I did want to throw out another note here. I have this D'Addario tuner here, and while I like D'Addario strings and highly recommend them, this tuner here I don't like. It just doesn't work as well as, say, a Snark. So, you know, for whatever that's worth, you know, maybe it's user error, I have no idea, but I prefer the Snark better. They're easier to see, etc. But yeah, we'll be getting this back to the owner really soon, and I hope they enjoyed it as much as I have here. I'm pretty sure they will. And I like that this thing has kind of a plain neck to it. It's pretty neat. Yes, I saw you, Fuego, going after my plant. What the heck, cat? I did want to say to the new subscribers, thank you for joining in. Really appreciate it. Feel free to drop a comment. You know, let me know how you're doing. Let me know how you're liking the videos. If there's something I need to address, I can certainly work on that. But yeah, give me a like, share with your friends. I would really appreciate it. Cheers.